Welcome to today's top 10 shocking political moves and global reactions. Let's dive right in. This week has been a whirlwind of political maneuvering, diplomatic crises, and the ever-present specter of international trade wars. From unexpected executive orders to hushed whispers of backroom deals, the world stage is anything but boring. So buckle up as we navigate this minefield of political intrigue together, because frankly it's either laugh or cry at this point, and I, for one, prefer to laugh while desperately clinging to a shred of hope for humanity. Well folks, it finally happened. The U.S. Department of Education, that bastion of standardized testing and questionable school lunch choices, is no more. Gone, vanished. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, decided to just Thanos snap it out of existence with an executive order. Now I know what you're thinking, John, isn't that like impossible? And to that I say, in normal times, sure. But these days, anything goes, baby. Linda McMahon, former wrestling executive and connoisseur of folding chairs, is apparently in charge of this whole shebang. How she plans to dismantle an entire government agency without, the actual agency's help is beyond me. But hey, stranger things have happened. In news that will surprise absolutely no one, the Pentagon has quietly stopped all military aid to Ukraine. That's right, folks. Just as the weather's turning frightful, they've decided to make things even more delightful for our friends in Kyiv. No more HIMARS targeting systems, no more fancy gadgets, just good old-fashioned grit and determination. It's like forgetting your thermos of coffee on a frigid winter morning. Sure, you can still function, but something essential is missing. And by essential, I mean the ability to, effectively defend yourself against an invading force. Senator Marco Rubio, everyone's favorite political parrot, has once again graced us with his nuanced take on the Ukraine conflict. And by nuanced, I mean he's repeated the phrase proxy war between great powers so many times it's starting to sound like a broken record. Look, Marco, we get it. Ukraine is important. Geopolitics is complicated, but listening to you drone on about it is like trying to count all the grains of sand on a beach. Technically possible, but utterly pointless, and soul-crushingly boring. Trump, never one to miss an opportunity for self-aggrandizement, delivered a speech to Congress this week that can only be described as something. He boasted about his achievements, outlined his future ambitions, and generally treated the whole affair like his own personal TED Talk. At one point he compared his presidency to an artist painting on a canvas. Which, okay, fair enough, I guess. But let's not forget that even the most talented artists occasionally spill paint on the carpet. And by spill paint, I mean incite an insurrection. Well folks, it seems the trade war is back on the menu. This week, the US slapped new tariffs on goods from China, Mexico, and Canada, because apparently, global economic instability is the new black. It's like a bizarre culinary duel where everyone's wielding tariffs like spatulas and the only thing getting cooked is the global economy. And the worst part? We all know how this ends. With higher prices, fewer jobs, and a whole lot of bitter aftertaste. Remember those HIMARS systems I mentioned earlier? The ones that are supposed to help Ukraine defend itself? Yeah, well, about that. Turns out those fancy toys are about as useful as a chocolate teapot without the targeting systems, which the Pentagon has so thoughtfully decided to disable. It's like giving someone a Swiss Army knife and then confiscating all the blades. Sure, it's still technically a multi-tool, but good luck opening a can of beans with it. In New York City, a group of about 50 people gathered to protest U.S. policy on Palestine. They chanted, they marched, they held signs with slogans like, "Enough." Now I know what you're thinking. 50 people? John, that's barely a quorum at a Starbucks. And you'd be right, but hey, every movement has to start somewhere, right? Even if that somewhere is a Tuesday afternoon in a city that's seen more protests than pigeons. Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, has accused the U.S. of engaging in aggressive trade tactics with its latest round of tariffs. And honestly, who can blame them? It's like being jumped in an alley by a guy wearing a maple leaf sweater. Not only is it a betrayal of trust, but it's also just plain confusing. The WTO is currently looking into the matter, but let's be real, they're about as effective as a screen door on a submarine when it comes to actually enforcing anything. In a move that's sure to send shockwaves through the international community, the US has reportedly been holding secret talks with opponents of Ukrainian President Zelensky. The details of these discussions are about as clear as a mud puddle, but it's safe to say that meddling in another country's elections is generally frowned upon. It's like showing up to a potluck with a casserole you found in the back of your fridge. Not only is it rude, but it also has a high probability of causing indigestion for everyone involved. Finally, some good news. It seems the cosmos have decided to give us a break, as magnetic storms have been relatively quiet lately. This means our satellites are safe, our power grids are stable, and we can all go back to worrying about more earthly concerns. It's like the universe's way of saying, look, I know things are rough down there, so I'm gonna lay off the celestial shenanigans for a bit. You're welcome. That's all for today's top 10 shocking political moves and global reactions. Stay tuned for more updates and don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, in these uncertain times, it's important to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay hydrated. Because if we're being honest, the only thing more unpredictable than global politics is whether or not you'll remember to drink enough water today.
Это мой код, моя воля, мой закон. I accept, иду вперед, не боюсь, не отступлю. I accept, я на коне, каждый день новый путь. I accept, и мне везет, я беру все, что хочу. Все карты на стол, я играю в свой ролл. Нет пути назад, только вперед мой заряд. Нет пути назад, это факт, я иду вперед. Каждый шаг акт, мир меня не сломает. Каждый день новый старт, я выбираю быть сильным. Каждый миг я беру с собой, я принимаю каждый шанс, я иду.